let it roll. Let the good times roll, Mr. Chad. Getting this thing
Yes,
started when I'm not even ready. Darn it.
as per usual. We're never ready.
We're never ready. Never. Ever ready. She
No.
wasn't ready. Cue Kevin Hart. Anyways. What? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, but geez, that was like middle. That was like middle school for me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't go old. It's Kevin freaking Hart, man.
Oh my goodness.
So welcome to, we don't even know what episode this is. I
It's
think
like
23.
22 or 23.
22,
Yeah.
23 episode of the Flag to Flag podcast. Thank you for tuning in to you're looking at our lovely host or listening to our lovely host, myself, John, and Chad. Chad, how are you doing, good sir? You look like you're in a different location. You look a little bit. You look fresher. Your camera's a little bit clearer. You just look better.
Well, thank you. Different location wise, I'm in the same location, just in a different area. I'm still in my dorm right now, at the University of Northwest at UNOH. But I am actually I'm on my bed right now. I'm doing this off my iMac, which I just recently got, which is fantastic. But the reason I'm not at my desk is because, well, I'm leaving.
What? What? Okay, this is news to me. What do you mean you're leaving? What do you mean? Where are you going?
So after this episode, the Flag to Flag podcast will actually be a one host show. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm kidding, dude. I'm moving back to Nashville for the summer.
You got me. You got me a little sad, and then you got me really mad. I was like, this mother.
I'm kidding. No, I'm not leaving the Flag to Flag podcast. I am leaving my dorm room and the University of Northwestern Ohio. Technically, I'm going to be doing online classes for the next 2 sessions. Today was my last day of my welding session, and oh my god, so much fun. I've got more burns than I can count, and I've been electrocuted more times than I can count. But
you're still here.
I'm still here. Yeah. But yeah. I got an opportunity to go to Charlotte and work during the summer shootout, which we'll talk a little bit. They had their first 2 rounds Monday and Tuesday of this week, and then so we'll talk a little bit, but I'm gonna be there for the rest of it, and then it's but yeah, I got the opportunity. Gonna be back home. Hopefully, we'll be able to do some in-person episodes. That'll be fun.
Very nice. Exactly. I think we should.
Yeah.
We should. So
yeah,
cool.
But yeah, I will be. I've gotten a lot of stuff packed up. I got a few more things I got to pack up, and then tomorrow I am out of here. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You still don't have a roommate, right?
No. No,
Man.
I'm moving out as he's moving in, which is kind of funny.
It's almost like what the other dude did. Well, actually, did that happen?
I don't know, dude. I mean,
I don't know. You've had a lot
well,
of
here's the thing.
things.
Like, I was home for a session,
Right.
and when I came back, he just wasn't here. Didn't even tell me or anything.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So you're doing a little switch. You're doing the same thing. So
Yeah. I'm
it's
gonna
fine.
still be in school. I'm gonna be doing an online class, and so it'll be a lot of fun.
Cool.
But yeah, I'll be home more. But yeah, we'll talk more about that when we do our local racing report, and we'll also talk about this week's Flag to Flag at the track.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but John, how are you doing? I got something in the mail last week.
You did. You did. You should have.
For a wedding coming up, so that is super exciting.
It's super
exciting. Super excited. I think it's the end of next month, the end of July. We'll be going to Austin, Texas for John's bachelor party. I can't speak on anything, but so far it's looking pretty fun.
Sounds good. It sounds like a good time from what I've heard, because I've collabed a little bit with some individuals about what we want to do and what I want to do.
What have y'all talked about?
Nothing surprised. I know there's something happening. I don't know what it is. So
okay.
I know there's something.
There's definitely going to be some clips or something on the Flag to Flag Instagram or something, just of us having fun, goofing around. But
especially if we go kart, which we are going to go karting at K1 or Coda. Me and you are. We could do both. Me and you are gonna kick ass. By the
We are.
way,
That's gonna be
we
that's
we.
that's.
What I'm more worried about is who's gonna get mad at who. It's like I think it's just gonna be
Hopefully, it's
me.
something like the last time we went go karting, where you got out and just mean mugged everyone. Which, I mean, it was a rough race. You had every right to do so,
And,
but I
hey,
was
that's all I wanted
like,
to hear. That's all I wanted to hear. I had the right.
yeah.
As
I
long
mean,
as I have the right.
what a lot of people I feel like need to understand is if you win if you win a rental go kart race, if you win one of those, you get a high five at most. Or you don't get anything.
Right.
So it's like, meh. But yeah,
But
that's
it's
kind of
different. It's different when somebody ruins your time, though, which is
that's
what
fair.
happened
You
with us
didn't have
last
to
time.
be there. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
But
that's the whole thing. I don't care if I win or lose. If I have a good time, that is great. But if we get put into the wall and that whole thing.
what have
So
you been up to these past few weeks?
working, content, getting hats. Got these last night. A lot. I called it my NASCAR hat haul of 13 hats that I just. Oh wow. Okay, business stuff. Doing business stuff. I literally got a message from a client that I've been waiting to hear for a month and a half. That's good news. A lot of business stuff. Was in a networking meeting before this. Man, you just downed that thing.
Ooh. 10. Thanks.
Eight, eight,
8. All
eight,
right.
eight. Need a little bit more depth and a little bit more
Longer. Yeah. Yeah. shows it is, but
we're not going to go there. Anyway, this is a family-friendly episode of the Flag to Flag podcast. I was going to make an insult at you, but it's fine. Anyways, I'm good. I apologize, Chad. I did not make the past weekend's races at the Nashville Fairgrounds. I will be there the next
you
time.
saw a
I
clip of it
promise.
though.
I did see a clip, and we're going to roll that right here, wherever we decide to clip this, of Mr. Chad doing everything in his power to push on Taylor Corum, push her car, and next thing you know, he just takes a tumble. And, like I said, get you a friend who will take a fall for you like Chad would.
So yeah, with the legend cars, the rules are that the bumper must be attached on 2 points, and if the bumper is not, you must come in and get it replaced. So Taylor got a little knocked around a little bit. One of her bumper tabs broke off, and so she had to come in. So I went down to Taylor's dad, and I said, "Hey, you need any help?" And he wasn't wearing he had shorts on. He didn't have pants on.
Pants off.
And in order to go over the wall at Nashville, you have to have pants on. So I had pants on. So I grabbed the bumper, I grabbed the impact, or I grabbed the electric ratchet, jump over, take it off, put it on, and I bang on the roof to tell her to go, and she stalls it. And I go to push her off, and right as I had put my weight forward, she had gotten it and was off. And I just kind of went over and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make this look good. And I went out and did a little hands up thing. I'm like, I'm good. And then
You got on the Legends Nation social media
Legends
channels.
Nation, which is one of our news outlets for the Legend cars. And I sent it in. Michael's girlfriend, my best friend, his girlfriend Olivia, caught it on video. She sent it to me. I sent it into Legends Nation, and yeah, and it was fun. We laughed about it afterwards. I got a little scraped up on my knee, but
I bet you kind of took you kind of hit it hard. I gotta say, you kind of ate.
Did.
You ate ass a little bit. You kind of just like. I mean, I saw you smacking it like,
I don't know if you can see, but there's a few marks right there.
Yeah. Hey, it's all part of it. It's all part of what you get with the Chad Barker package. The Chad Barker
Look,
package.
It won't be pretty, but I'll get you back out there.
I might fall down, break my knee, but hey, I'll be out there to help you.
We are about 10 minutes into this thing, and we haven't talked we've talked barely anything about racing. So let's get into it. We had the Indianapolis 500, which we talked about last episode, and then since then we've had 2 more races.
We had the Detroit GP. Yeah. The Detroit GP and the XPEL Grand Prix at Road America. 2 very different tracks, very different circuits. And let's talk about Detroit really quick. That was a crapshoot. Yeah. It was a crapshoot. It was bad. It was bad for Newgarden. It was bad for that's our favorite driver. Scott Dixon got the win though, but it was just like everybody was sending it into turn 3 for what? Like I understand it's a street circuit, but again, I was talking to my friend Zach, who's been watching IndyCar for a long time, he agrees with me. This track is very narrow. These cars are not meant to pass unless you are going into a passing zone. I understand on a restart you got to make moves, but oh my gosh. I mean, it was caution after caution after caution. It was an iRacing race.
It genuinely was, and what was really disappointing was, I mean, it looked like it was going to be exciting. We like looking throughout practice and qualifying. I mean, it was getting super exciting and
Right.
everything. And then even I want to say it was Christian Lundgaard and Santino Ferrucci even getting into it a little bit during
Yeah.
practice, you know, and
Yep.
it's or qualifying, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it is frustrating to have, you know, such great build. We have an amazing race at Indianapolis, then we come here, it's looking like it's going to be a great weekend, and then it takes us forever to get the race started. And then, but on a more positive note, we had a bunch of strategy up in the air with the on and off rain. I
That's
mean,
true. That's a good point, which is also it's a great thing to have. One thing I don't like though, they stalled at start way too long. So there
yeah,
was a caution that came out when it started to get a little bit heavier with the rain, and they effectively waited till the rain was gone. So if you switched on to the wet tires, you had no advantage. You had no
yeah,
advantage. I thought they could have gone green the many laps sooner. That was my one like, okay, come on, IndyCar, what are you doing? But either
yeah.
way, though, I mean, it was a great last 20 laps, though, between Dixon, getting the win. Very cool to see there. So that is his second win of the season. One at Long Beach and one at Detroit. Um, and so that was obviously exciting. Formula One was off that weekend because they were
Formula One
going
was
from
off that weekend, but the
going.
next weekend we had they went to Road America in Wisconsin.
Yep, that was
So
a
that was a good race. You know, it was the Penske show to say the least.
of course.
But it was really interesting to see the way, you know, the tire strategy played out, how a lot of these strategies played out. You know, it looked like it was, if I had to put money on it, I thought it was going to either be are you taking a photo?
I'm getting content. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm
It was
getting
either
content.
going to be Scott McLaughlin or Joseph Newgarden. It looked like he was going to take it, and then just out of nowhere, ending a 2-year, 54 race winless streak.
Yeah,
Um, Will
Will Power.
Power coming
Yep.
in, saving it, and you know that's exciting. That was really cool to see. Um, I know Flava Flav had to
Oh,
be excited about.
oh, oh, oh my gosh! That dude at the Indy 500 was legendary. I mean,
He is.
legendary. I mean, it was so funny to watch because he kept going like, I'm like, dude, I understand your Flavor
He was
Flav.
like I saw something where it was like he was like an NPC. He's just kind of
He
like
was,
a
he was,
background character.
he was an
I
NPC
don't want to call him that, but I mean, like he's just like.
and didn't stop. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Love you, Flavor Flav, if you listen to the Flag to Flag podcast, which you should. But either way, though, yeah, Will Power got the win. First win this year. First win. He didn't have a win last year. It was the first season he had. He went winless, which
and
sucks.
and I think his last win was in 20, either early 21 or late 20, or early 22, late 21.
I think what they said too was he's won in every single season he's been in except for last year. He won
Yeah,
16 seasons in a row. Didn't win last year, which sucks, which is just
yeah,
painful. But
yeah.
either way, he got the win. So that was cool to see. Also, one thing I do want to mention, because this is pretty big news, in Indy Next raced at Road America this past weekend,
Yeah,
and
this
Jamie Chadwick got the win. To clarify, because there was people on social media that said that my statements weren't accurate, but they were. Jamie Chadwick was the third woman to ever win in Indy Next, but the first woman to ever win on a road course in Indy Next. The two previous women that have won at Iowa and one at Nashville Super Speedway. So,
no,
um, yep. So that was a monumental win for her. Great to see that. Great to see that in motorsports. And if you argue that, please just do your due diligence and look it up online because
I mean, look, and to the people and I see it in the comments every now and then on your videos, John, who I will say this about John. You do your research.
I do. Now, sometimes I'm completely wrong. I'll admit if I'm wrong, but I
Yeah.
do my due diligence. I do my
Yeah.
research.
And, it's, when we get to the point where we make guesses on who's going to win a race, I do it more based off of feeling, who I think's going to be hungry, who I think's really going to want something like that. I don't know how long John spends before these episodes just looking at data, looking at information.
Realistically, about an hour and a half
Really?
tops. Well, this weekend, throw it to the fucking wind. Like this weekend is so up there in the wild card land because we've never been there. There's only been 3 cars that have ever been tested there. We have no idea, but I mean, I typically spend about an hour to hour and a half every week looking at data, looking at previous trends, and actually, I've had better success looking at previous results and making my pick early in the week than actually looking at practice data that weekend and making
Really?
my pick that weekend. I'm 2-2. I should be 3-1 if Ryan Blaney didn't run out of gas at Gateway. That just broke my freaking heart. That just tore me
But
to pieces
I did want to
emotionally.
put that out there.
But
Right
yeah.
now, if we go back to it, let's see here. Next
Oh, I
race.
see what you're doing. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't even know what I did. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. So traditionally, that race is at the end of the year. It's the season championship. However, this year it's going to be in Nashville, which once again, super exciting.
Yep.
Be able to see a champion get crowned at Nashville. But yeah, so looking at that, and then also looking at Road America and looking at Detroit. I mean, after those 2 races, Will Power now holds the lead of the IndyCar Points Championship by 1 point.
Yep.
Now, are we going to see another championship out of Will Power? I mean, he's one of the veterans of the sport. He's been in here. He knows what to do. But to be completely honest, I mean, we're getting to the point where the entire Penske lineup is getting to the point where it's veterans. Yes, we got Scott McLaughlin's the youngest of the group, and then what's his name, Joseph Newgarden is he's proven he knows how to do it, and he's won championships.
1-2,
He's
1-2,
won
back
two.
to back Indy 500 too. So
Yeah, and
uh,
so it's going to be interesting to look at. Let me see here. Let me go to the standings. So yeah, Will Power leads by actually 4 points or 5 points over Alex Palou, last year's champion. And so and then Alex Palou has a 6-point lead over Scott Dixon. So it's going to be interesting to see how these next couple races play out. I feel like I feel like Alex. I feel like any one of them have a decent shot at winning at Laguna Seca. It's one of the most challenging tracks. It's
it's
a
tough. It's tough.
very awkward track. I like to describe it as.
It is that
And
going downhill. I can't remember that. I can't remember if it's
the
what is
corkscrew.
it? Yeah, that is so fun because you have no idea what's in front of you. You're literally up there and you see. I mean, it is such a big elevation drop
It
that
is.
it's just wild. And so, I mean, looking at previous winners, Scott Dixon, Palou, Herta, Patrick. Excuse me. I mean, they've had. Well, I can't really. I'm not going to use that data because that was 2004. Cars are completely different. So 2023 was Dixon, 2022 was Palou, 2021 Herta, 2019 Herta. Do we see Herta get his win? Do we see Herta get his win this season? I mean, I think it's coming because he hasn't won yet. I've wanted to call it. I mean, so if I have to give a winner for 11 days from now, I'm going to say Colton Herta. I think he needs it bad. I think he needs it bad.
I mean, he does. I mean, looking at it right now, Colton Herta is currently 7th in the point standings with 176 points. Almost, I mean, he's pushing 100 points away from the leaders right now. And, 2 good races can get him up there, yes, but, I mean, you got to look at it. Is he? Here's a question. Okay, here's a question. We can kind of start a discussion off of this. Is How long has Colton Herta been in the sport?
I want to say he's been in
He's not the
4.
newest, but he's not the oldest.
I want to say it's, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say 4. Um, if I might be 4. I want to say 4 years. Hold on, let me double check this. I'm totally wrong. 6 years.
Oh, 6 years. Okay, I didn't know it was that long.
This he's going on his 7th year. I don't know why I thought 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So now, well, let me take that back. Okay, that's totally wrong. So I might be right. Some of these stats are completely false. They were saying he had no starts this year. He definitely has starts this year. 2018 made his IndyCar debut at Sonoma.
Okay, so in 2018, you have, all right, he's a rookie. What you want to do is you want to be good, you want to be consistent, you want to get as many laps as you can. 2018, then we have, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. All right, this is his 7th season right now. We're not seeing the consistency out of him like we are from other 7-season drivers.
That's
it's
true.
Some races, he's the talk of the town. He's all right. You got to put your money on and everything. And then there's other races he's not on the radar. I mean, I'd be willing to bet that, Joseph Newgarden, and this isn't a biased opinion. This is my genuine, honest opinion, because look at him on road courses. Look at him on the ovals. Joseph Newgarden, he's a threat every single race, all right? So is Alex Palou. So is Scott Dixon, all right? Yes, these guys are veterans of the sport, kind of, but I feel like at this point, if we're not seeing much of anything out of Colton Herta, I mean, it's hard to put my finger on it, but I mean, you got to be able to just. I'm trying to figure out the words to say this, but I don't feel, even after 7 years, I don't think he's a championship level driver yet. We're not seeing him up front fighting every single week. He's not a threat every single week like we have with a handful of other drivers.
Now, again, I mean, I'm looking at this. 2019, he ran. If this is correct, he ran 4. He hasn't run. I don't know if this is accurate or not. You have 17 starts in 2019, 4 starts in 2020. This is 0 starts in that. Yeah, these stats are not right. ESPN, get better.
ESPN's only good for Formula One.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find race start stats, but I don't see it. Okay, races started 228. Here we go. This is a better one. Okay, 229 races started. 30. Whoa. What? This says he has 36 wins. What do you mean he doesn't have 36 wins? This data is so wrong, Chad.
What are you on?
I'm just trying to find any kind of data on Colton Herta. Okay, 87 starts, 7 wins, 11 poles, 14 podiums. So he wins about 10% of the time. I'm looking at coltonherta.com.
Well, I like his racing reference as my thing. So 2018, he made 1 start. Okay? 2018, he made 1 start. It was the 85 lap race at Sonoma. Then he got a full ride for the 2019 season for 17 of for the 17 races, won 2 of those races. Got on pole 3 times. 2020, 14 races, won 1, stood on the podium twice, got on pole 1 time. All right. Now, 2021 was a great year for Colton Herta, okay? 3 wins, 5 podiums, 3 poles. All right. 2022, 17 races. All right. 1 win, 2 podiums, 2 poles. All right. 2023, no wins, 1 podium, 1 pole. or 2 poles. So far in 2024, he stood on the podium twice. Yeah, so in his 7 years, he has made 88 starts. He's won 7 times, 14 podiums, 12 poles. But there's no. I just feel like at this point we need to see a championship out of him. It feels like we need to.
Or at
Yeah,
least something close to a championship.
yeah, like we're not seeing that out of him, and I'm not, by no means am I bashing him. I'm just.
You think the results need to be a little bit better? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
I mean, I'm not saying he's got to go out there and win it or podium every week, but the guys we talk about to win a championship are the guys we talk about week in and week out. Same thing with NASCAR, same thing with Formula One.
Yeah.
All right. He's not the topic of conversation. Anytime we go to Nashville, yes, he's a topic of conversation. He very much is. But anywhere else, it's a flip of a coin if he's a topic of conversation or not.
True,
and
true.
we hear from him every week. He's great on road course, great street racer. He was even considered to be the American Formula One driver for a little bit, but his record preceded him.
Yep.
And so, yeah, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on him? By no means is he a bad driver. I think he's a fantastic driver. I think he's just got to get the consistency with the results.
Yeah, I definitely think the consistency is what the issue is, and yeah, he has wins, which is good. You have that, and that's what you need. But consistency is what I like to see, and I think what teams want to see. And it's been up and down, and I think that's the same thing. I mean, he can win, and there's no argument that he can't that he can or
Yeah.
cannot win. I think it's what is his, from what I've witnessed, his racecraft. His race. I mean, specifically, he was on track to win the Music City Grand Prix, but he put himself into the wall. I remember it. I mean, like drove himself into the wall for no. I don't want to say no reason. He had the race won. He had the race won, and he hit the damn wall. I remember that because I made a bet on him. I was very upset. But still, it's those things that you cannot make those mistakes in those moments because you only get a certain amount of times that if you make that same mistake again, or a third time, or a fourth time, you are literally costing yourself and your team wins, championships, money, sponsorship dollars, your reputation. I mean, so it's a thing where I think you have to look at it a little bit deeper than just the results and look at how he has raced. His racecraft is great, but it's almost, I'm going to compare him to somebody like, I'm trying to think of a driver. I can compare him to, but a driver who has the skill, has the ability, but there are things that have not been ironed out yet from a racecraft perspective.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of. I don't want to throw Ross Chastain into this a little bit, but Ross Chastain almost drives with a reckless abandon, and it just doesn't like, he just does it. Granted, he's won multiple times, but again, it's the same thing. Like he puts himself into situations where he shouldn't, and like Colton Herta does the same thing. But I think he's going to win. I think he'll win.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great to see him, but obviously there's no IndyCar this weekend, so we have to wait on that a little bit. But anything else IndyCar-wise you want to add on before we switch over to Formula One?
Nothing too crazy. I will say that some of the drivers will be competing in the 24 hours of Le Mans this weekend.
They will.
It's very interesting to see how that plays out.
Very excited about that, actually.
There was a hybrid test at Milwaukee, which was interesting. Penske placed 1, 2, 3 there.
As they should.
But yeah, there's no major news that came out. But yeah, what do you say we get on to Formula One?
Okay, so Formula One was at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada, for the Canadian Grand Prix, the AWS Grand Prix du Canada 2024. And we saw a pretty interesting race, I got to say. Mercedes was doing very well for a good portion of the race. And then you had...
didn't even finish.
Yeah. And then you had, obviously, Max Verstappen take the win. But let's look at this a little bit deeper. You had 5 DNFs, 2 Ferraris, 2 Williams, and Sergio. And so you're looking at that specifically. Sargent was a mess all weekend. I mean,
Yeah.
just a mess. I mean, there's nothing to say. It just wasn't good.
So
Albon again.
even okay, sorry. I thought you were gonna
No, go ahead.
with the I mean with the driver market so up in the air right now, it is you can't be affording bad races like this. No one can unless you've got a secured seat for next year. All right,
Yeah.
people who don't, Carlos Sainz, Logan Sargent, guys like that who don't know where they're going to end up next year.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
it was announced that Esteban Ocon will not be returning to Alpine next
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to part ways on that. Still don't know where Pierre Gasly is going to end up, and there's still half the grid seats are still open.
Yep.
And it's very interesting. But but going back to what you said, yes, Max Verstappen won the race, but this wasn't the Max Verstappen dominance we have seen all of last year, all of the year before, and the start of this year. All right, now very disappointing for Ferrari coming off of a great win in Monaco, and not being able to have the and not
So
being able
bad.
to and not being able to have both cars finish. I mean, they were having issues from the I almost said from the drop of the green flag, but from the
from
moment
lights
lights
out.
went on. There we
Yep.
go. But and yeah, but it was really a toss up. I mean, you could have put a bet on Verstappen, Norris, or Russell, and it would have been a good one. I thought Russell was going to have it, and then it looked like what's his name? Lando Norris was going to be able
Yep.
to play the gamble, get it right, but yeah, Max came out on top after after a bit of a drought, but he's been doing all right. Scored the 25 points. Lewis Hamilton getting the fastest lap of the race, but yeah, that was a big strategy race. The weather was all over the place,
That's a good point.
much
Yep.
like what we saw in Detroit, and it was very interesting just to see the strategies play out, who was going to do what, and who was going to be the first ones to go on slicks. And we had some guys going on slicks maybe a little too early. We had some guys who waited maybe a little too late,
Yep.
but it all played out in Red Bull's favor. And they had one car win, but the other car not so much. But I will say it was good to see George Russell get back up on the podium. Hadn't seen
I
him up there in a
agree.
little while. Lewis Hamilton had a shot at getting the podium, and that would have been good to see. Say what you want about the guy; he's a great racer, nice guy.
The equipment's just not there for the Mercedes.
Yeah, I mean that's
It's
why we're seeing him. That's why we're seeing him go to Ferrari next year. One of the only
exactly.
two teams that can actually keep up with Red Bull.
And he's bringing along some engineers from Mercedes. I
So
heard
he
that.
is.
I heard there could be some potential switches over from Mercedes to Ferrari. Not sure
Well,
how
that
that's going to
is.
play into the world of Ferrari, but either way, I mean, you're going from Mercedes to Ferrari. I mean, still two damn good teams.
Oh yeah,
So
and who knows? Ferrari might need it because I mean, I kind of got this thought. Ferrari's trying to chase down Red Bull right now. Are they chasing them too hard? Are they pushing their equipment to the limit so much so that checkers are wreckers? I mean, it's what
well,
it's looking like.
yeah, I mean, I think last week was rough because you had the power, you had the engine issues with Charles, and then they put him on slicks to make a big gamble. They had to. It didn't pay off. They retired the car. Carlos was retired. I I do know that they are supposed to be coming out with floor updates for Barcelona, um, which is going to be way ahead of time, way ahead of when they were supposed to, because they
That
were
kind of
supposed
goes
to.
back. They're rushing it.
Yeah, they're rushing it. They were supposed to release it on July 5th to July 7th, which is Silverstone, but they're going to be releasing it almost 2-3 weeks early, about 2 weeks early. So not like an insane amount of time, but they know that the gap has increased, and let's talk about that too.
Yeah.
The gap between first and second in constructor championship is only about 51 point. Oh, my math is wrong on that. 49 points. 49 points between Red Bull and Ferrari, and then you have 40 points between Ferrari and McLaren, and then almost 100 points between McLaren and Mercedes there for third and fourth, about
Yeah.
88 points. So Red Bull still has the gap, but with Sergio getting a DNF this past weekend, it helped out a lot with that. But from a driver perspective, it's the Max Verstappen show. He
Yeah.
has 194 points. Charles has 138, so he's 56 points behind Mr. Max. And so again, I still think this championship battle is way, way up in the air because you've seen how right now, Red Bull switched over engines, complete engine swap this past weekend. They can only do that a certain amount of times. Red Bull isn't I don't think Red Bull isn't the team that we thought they were going to be. It's everybody else has closed that gap so severely that looking at the last results, I mean, we've had, Verstappen has won 6 races, but also you have Carlos, Lando, and Charles.
Yeah.
So it's not complete and utter dominance like we saw last year. So the gap is there. And who knows? Two bad races for Max could mean Charles comes up in the championship or Lando or because those are the two closest battles right now is Charles and Lando at a 7-point gap, 138 to 131. So it's still up in the air. I think it still
Very
has
much.
there's a lot of racing to go. We have how many races? I mean, like 13, 14.
What is my hair doing?
I don't know. It's all over the place. uh, I think we have 13 or 14 races left, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to upload the schedule. I don't know the exact number. Either way, we still have half the season left. Still got a lot of racing to go. We're
Yeah.
still very early on in this season. So either way, Max got the win. And the next race is going to be in Barcelona in Spain. And
Yeah.
so that race is going to be in 2 weeks' time. So this weekend, we only have NASCAR and we have one of the most prestigious races in the world, the 24-hour Le Mans. So last year, though, really quick, want to talk about Spain. Last year, Verstappen won by a whopping 24 seconds to Hamilton and Russell. And you saw Logan Sargent 1 lap down with a slew of other drivers, everybody really. But Verstappen got the win. So 2 early predictions. What do you think? What do you think,
I
knowing
mean,
where Mercedes is, where Red Bull is, where Ferrari is, where
I
McLaren
mean,
is?
it's easy to sit here and say Red Bull, but we have the upgrades coming from Ferrari. But are they going to be too soon? Are they going to be pushing it too soon? We got to look at that at all. And then what's McLaren got hiding under the seat? That could be a factor into. I feel like it's getting to the point where it's no longer a safe bet to put Red Bull on. It's getting to the point where Red Bull, Ferrari, and McLaren are all factors in this. McLaren's getting that power back up in there and getting it going. Ferrari's getting back up there, possibly, hopefully, going to be fighting for a championship, first one since I believe Kimi Räikkönen, was it?
Yes, I
I
want to
want
say
to say it
yes.
was that. I want to say it was him.
2008. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. My mind is blanking right now.
Yeah, but
yeah. Either way, go ahead.
it's a safer bet, but it's never a for sure safe bet at this point because we're not going to see that dominance. Every time we see practice, it's all up in the air. We never know. Plus, yeah, man, I genuinely just I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I feel like it's way too early to say anything. If I had to say something right now, I'd have to go Max Verstappen. I feel like he's at the point where he's like, okay, we got to stop messing around and start getting going. But then again, you got to look at Leclerc. Then you got to look at Norris. I mean, it's there's so much up in the air right now.
Yep, I agree. I'm gonna take a gamble on Ferrari's upgrades. I'm gonna go with my red hat here. The NASCAR hat has nothing to do with Formula One, but it's red, so I'm gonna go with Ferrari 1-2 with a McLaren Actually, no. Ferrari won 2, Max in third. Ferrari won 2, Max in third. Don't care who wins for Ferrari, preferably Charles. I don't care. Just get a win. Um, that's who I'm going to think it's going to be in Spain.
Yeah.
In Spain in
That,
2 weeks'
yeah.
time.
Also in Formula One, a few days ago, the FIA released their 2026
They
regulations.
did. They did. They did. That's
The
it's a
cars are getting smaller. DRS is gone.
yeah. Yeah, that's
That's
huge.
gonna be that's gonna be insane, and I'm happy about it.
I am too. I mean, I think you're going to see a mix. I think you're going to see a big mix. Because what this is going to do, this is going to put the races back into the driver's hands, where you only can rely on slipstream, and it's going to show who has the best car. Because when you have DRS, yes, you have that 10 to 15 kilometer per hour difference, which is huge, especially when you have a DRS change. What?
What the fuck is a kilometer?
You don't understand my lingo, do you? Simple-minded American. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Italians fuck.
Hey, hey, hey! What are you doing? I am Italian. Thank you very much. Anyways, yeah. So without DRS, I think it's going to add. It sounds odd, but adds more racecraft because DRS is essentially a boost button. Let's be
It's
real. Yeah, it is. It really is, and I like it because it creates a very big speed difference between the car in front of you and the car behind you, and obviously you can pass. But also, it takes away the aspect of racing because in NASCAR you don't have that. You have the draft. In
Yeah.
IndyCar you do have that with push to pass. But again, I think it's a good move. I think it's a good move. I like it. We'll see what some people think about it. A lot of people are probably like, "Oh, it's not as exciting." Well,
Boo-hoo.
yeah. Anyways, but
Yeah.
new cars coming in 2026. That's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna hear more as time comes out, but yeah, that's what we got for Formula One. Yeah, let's. But now on to our local racing report.
Let's do it.
We are going to be going to Grandview Speedway up in Pennsylvania, not too far away from where I'm at. They had only two classes Saturday night, the modifieds and the sportsmen. So we're going to do top 5 from each. So started 6th, finished 5th in the number 15 machine, Mike Lesowski. Started and finished 4th in number 61 machine, Justin Grimm. This is the modified division, by the way. Started 16th, finished 3rd in the 357, Jeff Strunk. Started 9th, finished 2nd, the number 117 of Kevin Hertler. And started 8th, finished 1st in the number 19K, Brett Chrisley. Going down to our sportsman division now. Started 10th, finished 5th in the number 38 machine, Mike Stofflet. Started 6th, finished 4th in the number 973 machine was Jesse Landis. Started 4th, finished 3rd in the number 36 machine, Colton Perry. Started 3rd, finished 2nd in the number 187 machine, it was Steve Young. And finally, starting 2nd, finishing in the top spot in the F10 machine of Mark Kimmerer. Excuse me. If you would like your local short track shouted out on the Flag to Flag podcast, email flagtoflag10@gmail.com or hit us up on any of our social media channels. Listen out for those at the end of the episode. Make sure you go to your local short track this weekend and bring a friend. This week's Flag to Flag at the track will be 2 racetracks. So, the first racetrack will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this week in Calhan, Colorado at Pikes Peak Quarter Midget Association for the NASCAR Youth Series National event.
Huh.
If you go there or if you watch on Flow Racing or the NASCAR Youth Series YouTube channel, you will hear my voice as I will be announcing the entire weekend's events.
Oh, look at that. I'll tune into that for sure.
There you go. And then Monday and Tuesday night of next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the 3rd round of the INX Summer Shootout. I will be there crewing for the Race Driven Performance team. Already had a great weekend at the first 2 rounds this past weekend. Michael Crafton in the semi-pro division, winning round 1 and 2, and then Kevin Rollins in the Masters division, winning round 3 for our team. So that was super exciting. And then, but of course, great racing all the way across the board. You get to see some big names out there, even some names you might recognize. Keelan Harvick, Carter McMurray, Brexton Bush, Bubba Wallace. We even had Tuesday night. So
We did.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah, I think that's it's going to be interesting. And then yeah, so far so fun. Moving on to NASCAR.
Yep, let's talk about NASCAR. So, going to recap 2 races very briefly. Worldwide Technology Raceway, that had a very interesting race. Pretty good race, I would say. Exciting between Christopher Bell and Ryan Blaney. All the way till the last corner, Ryan Blaney had the win until, he ran out of gas. Crewman, not a good job there, sir. Ran out of gas, which gave Austin Cindric, his teammate, the win. Locked him in. I feel like we were just talking about Austin Cindric a couple weeks ago and how he's been ass. Let's just be real. And has a win handed to him. Granted, he still would have finished second place. It's a fluke. That's my take.
It is, but I mean, look, you got to look at the sport, and yes, let me see. Let me make sure my information is correct before I say this. Yeah, he's the wait, Joey Logano. No, actually, no. He's the only Penske driver in NASCAR to get a win this season. Points paying win. He fought his way up to second. And second finish, he got his way up there and everything, and then everything he got lucky, everything lined up for him. Coming to the white flag, Ryan Blaney just runs out of gas, his coast away is around the track, and yeah, I mean, Austin Cindric, good to see him win. He's never been the type of guy to get on other people's nerves and everything. He's not a bad guy or anything.
Oh, no.
It's debatable if he deserves his seat in the sport, but that's not our decision to make. But
no, but I feel like, though, again, we have a lot of drivers that could fill that seat, and we know the affiliations with Penske, with Cindric. Yeah. And maybe, I still think he's a great driver. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's still great. He was in the position to win. I mean, that's all you want out of your driver is a position to win. Yeah. And he did that. And kudos to Cindric, but the results haven't been there, and that's what I have to base it off of. He has not done anything since the Daytona 500 win. Hasn't done anything. Yeah, hasn't done a thing.
And so he wins the 2022 Daytona 500. Okay. You got to have a good bit of luck on your side to win that race.
Yeah.
Then the very next week, puts it on pole at Auto Club. Okay, this guy actually might have something. That's it.
Yeah.
Until we get to Gateway, and he gets the win, locks himself into the playoffs, which, now only leaves a handful of spots open. But then the week after that, in Sonoma, Kyle Larson takes home the win after a great battle with Martin Truex Jr. and
Great strategy call. Great strategy call.
That too.
Yeah. It was fun to watch.
Chris Buescher, I thought he had it, and then as the laps ticked down, we saw Martin Truex get up there, and then we saw Kyle Larson get up there, and Martin Truex barely finishing that race.
Hey, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Honestly, it sucks. Not cool as he ran out of gas, but everybody was cheering him on, and NASCAR didn't push him intentionally, which I love. Good move, NASCAR, to not shove him across the line, because that would have negated his finish.
Yeah, you have to cross the line under your own power.
Which, I don't know if you'd call that power. I mean, he may have been like Fred Flintstone, just like
momentum.
Yeah, that was awesome to see, though. And so, we had a Chevrolet win on a road course, and now let's look over to this upcoming week, though. we have a track that the Cup Series has not been to yet in this car, Iowa Speedway for the Iowa Corn 350. And let's talk about that, because this is going to
And
open up
that is the most Iowan race.
the Iowa Corn 350, 350 laps of corn. Yes. Looking at the track, looking at this race, there's a lot of things that I like and a lot of things I don't. We've never been here before, and this in a Cup car. We've been here many times in Xfinity. Great, different car, drives completely different. You can't really translate a lot, mainly because they're two different cars, but also because of the way that this track is paved, which sucks. I don't know if you saw my video on it, Chad.
I probably didn't.
About how it's a partial repave.
Partial repave? What do you mean?
It's a partial repave. They repaved the bottom lane with fresh pavement and left the top, which means there's going to be grip all around the bottom and nothing on the top. You got to look up. Hold up, Iowa repave.
Is this a multi-lane racetrack?
It could have been. It could have been. Not anymore. Here. Let me just look up Iowa repave. Actually, I'll just send you this photo. So this is the repave, Chad.
Are you sending it to me?
Yeah, I'm sending it to you so you can see it live. I want you to see this. This is the Iowa repave.
What the hell is that?
You tell me how that works. You tell me how that works. That's turn 3. That is turn 3 at Iowa. I agree with Dale Jr. on this point. You are going to have a one groove track because no one's going to want to put rubber on the old surface.
Yeah.
No one. Now, what you might have happen is you might have cars, which sounds odd, almost like reverse diamonding the corner, if that makes sense. Because if you look at where, they're going to cut it, they're going to start up high, they're going to dip down to the bottom, where they're going to have to cross old pavement, get down to the bottom, they're going to stick, and then use the new pavement for grip and slide up. It's almost, it's like a reverse, a reverse diamond. And I will agree with what Dale Jr. said. This is going to create a one groove lane, a one groove track. Everybody's going to wrap the bottom. It's going to be a Richmond. I don't like it. I think this.
For not liking it.
Now I don't know what turn 1 and turn 2 looks like. I only see turn 3 and turn 4.
All the grip's going to be on the bottom. All the cars are going to want to go. Well, that's just it. Everyone's going to want to go to the bottom. Are we going to see someone try and run maybe the second groove? Maybe. Yeah. Maybe just have their left sides on that new pavement and seeing what the right sides will do. All right.
It looks like the same thing in turn 1, by the way.
Are we going to see that? And I don't know. It's weird.
It's the same thing in 1.
It is frustrating. You're sending me turn 1?
Yeah. Well, I'll just take a picture of it and show it to you here. That's turn 1.
Okay, so similar.
It's the same thing. And I understand, but why a partial? Why a partial? Because the rubber's not going to get laid on that old surface as well as the new surface. The new surface is going to have so much grip. I mean, it's just physics, which naturally will create a one lane track. But again, I haven't seen the track, so I don't know how wide. I mean, you may be able to fit 2 cars, but you will not have a high line. You won't, and you won't want to go there.
And it's going to be. That is frustrating because they were hyping up this race a lot, and then just to kind of do something like that, which this might have been a decision by the track to do.
Right. This could be this could be great. Who knows? But with what we know with this car, from what we've seen, and from what you know about racing, what I know about racing, you want to go where there's grip, and there's grip on newer pavement. And anyways, so with this track, it looks very similar to Richmond. It's almost an identical replica of Richmond, just a little bit bigger. So I think that's going to play into favor of a lot of those drivers that we saw up at the front of Richmond. Have I told you my pick? Have I told you my pick this week?
You haven't. I have mine.
Okay, I'm curious. Who do you think is going to win this weekend in Iowa?
So, My reasoning behind this is based off of other certain scenarios that we've had with this. All right? Let's go back to 2022. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Clash at the Coliseum.
Mm,
First race.
I see where you're going.
First race in a new car at a new track. Who wins? 22, Joey Logano. Later that year, we go to Gateway. New car, new track. Who wins? Joey Logano. All right. Looking at Richmond. Richmond has been favorable to the Fords. All right. Ford is starting to come out of that shell now that they have been locked in. Are we going to see Joey Logano get his first points paying race this week? Yes. But let's look at some other guys as well. Who is someone who doesn't matter what the track conditions are, doesn't matter where the pavement, the newer or old pavement is, he'll run the high side just to see if it'll work? Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson. Yes, sir.
Kyle Larson will run that high side just to see if it'll work. Then we got to look at someone like a Kyle Busch, who he can find where the car wants to go. Yes, he hasn't had that great of success so far this year.
Yeah.
But he could, I feel like the guys who we see who want to run that high side, if they even do, are going to be the guys who are more familiar in the dirt scene. A Chase Briscoe, a Christopher Bell, a Kyle Larson, guys who are more familiar with that kind of stuff.
For sure.
And so it's going to be interesting to see the way that plays out. But yeah, if I had to put a pinpoint on it, I'm going to go with Joey Logano, mainly just because of his track record at new racetracks in this next gen car.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. I like that because looking at Richmond, which I think is a very big data point you have to look at when it comes to this racetrack, he came in second. He was right there battling for the. I mean, he was up there the entire time. So was Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin got the win. So was Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell finished in 6th place. Looking at those guys, I agree with you. And also to add on to this, Kyle Larson came in 3rd. Who had the tire test at Iowa? Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and Brad Kay. So I think the winner is going to come out of those 3 teams for sure, without a doubt. I know you're probably saying, "Oh, that's really easy to say." Well,
yeah,
you have to rely on experience too. And who's been at the track? Kyle Larson's the easy pick. Kyle Larson is the easy pick. I don't think Kyle Larson wins though. I'm gonna go with the driver. Though I'll give you my top picks. I think Christopher Bell, Brad Kay, and Kyle Larson, they will all get top 5s. 100%. They'll all be in the top 5. I like I like the drivers who have had experience there before, but I don't think they're gonna win. I do like how Keselowski has won 3 races in the Xfinity Series there. Christopher Bell, I believe, has won 2 races. So I like that experience as well. But a driver that I think is going to win this weekend, who his odds are actually, I like them at where they are. I think he's undervalued. A guy who finished in 4th at Richmond. Do you remember who finished in 4th at Richmond? Don't look it up. Don't look it up.
Don't look it up. No, I don't.
Well, this might give you a hint. He led 228 laps at Richmond.
Was it Buescher?
Buescher did not lead a single lap at Richmond.
Oh, wait. Oh, shoot. Wait, it was Richmond. Hold on. That's where they had like the weird finish. Was it Truex?
It was Truex. Truex led 228 laps. I think Truex gets the win. I think Truex gets the win this weekend. I like this because I think last week was embarrassing. It was. He had a top 3 secured, ran out of gas. I think he's hungry. I think he knows his seat is potentially up for grabs. He may be retiring. Who knows? That seat might be up for grabs. Question mark. Noah Gragson to 19. Heard rumors. Not sure if it's true.
That would be something. That would be something.
That'd be wild. I've heard Bass Pro is going to follow him to Joe Gibbs if Truex retires. There you go. Or maybe a 4th car for Joe Gibbs. Or I guess you can't do a 4th car because you already have 4. No, you have 3.
Joe Gibbs is 4.
Hamlin, Truex, Gibbs,
Bell.
Oh man, I forget about Christopher Bell sometimes. I forgot. I was like, oh, who's the other one? Oh, Christopher Bell. But I think Truex I do. He's been so good at these kind of tracks. He has the third highest average finish at D-shaped tracks. If you look at Kansas and Las Vegas, those are technically D-shaped tracks. Very different mile and a half comparatively to a 0.75 of Richmond, a 0.7 or 0.875 of good old Iowa. But I think he'll figure it out. I think that team needs a win. I think he's hungry. He's been one of the most consistent drivers all year long. And so I think that he will get the win. I think he'll get the win this weekend. So that's my pick. I love Keselowski. I like the Logano pick too. But there's not a lot of data. Like I made my pick on Burning Rubber Radio. I said, hey, this is a wild card. We don't know what's going on. Like we have no data outside of the tire test. So
no. Are you okay?
No.
Are you drunk? You want to be on my podcast?
I don't know what the hell we're talking about.
This is one of my dorm mates just walked into my room. Dude, it is
1:15 on a Wednesday.
3 o'clock on a Wednesday, and you are drunk right now?
Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
What'd he say?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It is, technically.
Exactly.
There you go. All right. Well, I mean, look, a few of these teams like Gibbs, a little bit of Penske, may have that Xfinity. Are you cracking another Four Loko in my room?
Oh my God, that's amazing. That's amazing.
So these guys, they've got a little bit of a notebook with this, with the Xfinity car, but it's gotten to the point where it's a completely different race car now. You know,
True. It's a good point.
Two different cars, but
two different cars. I can't get over it, dude. I can't get over it. I can't take it seriously. He's literally cracking open a cold one on the show. So
yeah.
Well,
it's never a dull moment on the flag.
Never a dull moment. That was not on my bingo card to have your roommate or your suite mate walk in. That's cool though. Well,
jeez.
Cheers.
All right, well, yeah. What's the kicker, or Eddie?
I had to get a lift back.
When did you start drinking today?
When I woke up.
When did you wake up?
4 a.m.
John, to be in college, huh?
Hey,
4 a.m.? Did he say 4 a.m.?
I did this before college.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my gosh.
John's like, I'm getting married. I have a business. I can't be doing this shit.
That is the wildest thing I've ever heard. 4 a.m. Well, not the wildest thing, but the crazy thing I've heard today. The crazy thing I've heard. Okay. Oh, I've heard some crazier things. You know, some crazier things.
On a couch, right?
Whose couch?
Omar's.
Okay, your buddy Omar.
On a couch, and I was like, "What happened last night?" And I get up, and I'm like, I go to my phone. I was like, "Where's my phone outside?" And I grab my phone right on the balcony, and I'm trying to turn it on. It's dead. I'm like, oh, I'm starting to remember. And I was like, I remembered that me and Nick were there. We smoked so much.
All right. That wraps up this episode of the Flag to Flag podcast.
Make sure to follow us on all our social channels at Flag to Flag Podcast everywhere, and at Flag to Flag _podcast on Instagram. You know where to hit us up. This is going to be capped at an hour, 4 minutes. Chad, see you on the next one, buddy.
See ya. I'm sorry about this.
Ladies and gentlemen.